Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the QubicaAMF Tech Tip Podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I'm your host, Orly, and we have returning guest, David J. David, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Orly. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, we always appreciate you, David. You have a lot of great information to share with everyone, and you're great. You're one, we have a lot of great trainers, but I'm not saying you go above and beyond everybody else. I got to be careful what I say because I know I'll get a phone call or an email like, hey, you've never said that about me. So you just never know. But David always goes above and beyond. And I will say you explain differently than a lot of others. Some people are very quick and you're a little bit more technical, which I like. It's good. You make sure to hit all the points you need to hit, and everybody else does too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just going to stop there and just move on. But
yeah, put the shovel away, right. And we'll let you out of the hole now.
Yeah, and again, David, if someone is new to the show and they're listening for the first time, hearing you on, can you let everyone know your job title with QubicaAMF and what you do?
I am a max training specialist and team development specialist in the training department.
Okay, and David, today we're going to cover. Has to do with Square. And for those who might not know, I guess first Square and QubicaAMF have partnered together. And maybe you want to first give a little some details on that first?
Just a quick overview, I guess. Yes, QubicaAMF and Square have partnered to make Square POS for restaurants available for integration with Conqueror. So that being said, there are some things that longtime Conqueror users are used to that may be a little bit different in the flow when it comes to the integration with Square. And so we want to make sure that everybody understands, as you said, the details of how to make things happen like that and make sure that there's no surprises or no misses when we integrate and then, oh my gosh, this used to look like this in Conqueror, and now I can't see it in Square, or it looks a little different in the Square reporting. So I just wanted to go over one of the things that has come up often in these early stages, and we really try to focus on, and that is how tips that are taken through Conqueror are reported into Square, and how we can make sure that that reporting looks exactly the way that the customer wants it to.
Okay.
So first of all, we are talking about the final stage of integration. We call it migration from Conqueror and Square to Conqueror plus Square POS. And so assuming that the final migration has happened, this is where the difference comes. And what happens is tips that are taken through a Conqueror terminal no longer show up in Conqueror. It's a financial piece, and all the financial pieces are now in Square solely. Okay. So when we take a credit card, although the credit card will show up as a payment type in Conqueror, any tip that's applied goes directly into Square. So now we need to make sure that that tip, once you look at a Square report, is actually defined as where it goes to the proper user. Okay. In Conqueror, it's who's ever signed into Conqueror. Well, we want that to transfer exactly that way into Square. So it's a little detailed, but not difficult. Everybody has to have a user created in Square. Once you have a user created in Square, you're also likely already going to have a user created in Conqueror prior to this integration. What we have to do is pair those two users, and that happens in the Q portal. Maybe not all of your employees are already users on the Q portal. You might have a generic user that you share with your staff for training resources and that type of thing. So all users in Conqueror that will be receiving tips, just anybody that's receiving tips, I usually recommend everybody that's doing any transactions, but certainly anybody that's going to receive a credit card tip through Conqueror needs to be added as a user on the Q portal.
Okay.
To do that, your manager or owner, whoever has the admin access in the Q portal, first name, last name, unique email address. Every user has to have a unique email address. And once that user has registered, their username will be available on the Q portal. That username needs to be applied to that staff member's profile in Conqueror. At the bottom of the profile page, when you click on that staff member's name, there's a spot that says Q Cloud username.
Okay.
That username is applied to that spot, save it, and now our user from Conqueror is linked to the Q portal, and now you can pair that user with the Square username. It's a simple click on the username in Q portal. There appears a box at the bottom. There's a drop down. In that drop down are all of the people that are Square users. Choose the right user, hit save, and you're done. Now, when you run a report in Square where you see the tips, they will be defined as allocated to the proper Conqueror user. If that process doesn't happen, or maybe we miss somebody, we have a new employee, whatever the case may be, those tips appear in Square as unallocated. So it's not that they don't appear, it's just you don't know exactly who they're going to go to. Okay. Now, a center that does something like they pool all their tips, then you just have a generic user and let it go into Square and it's unallocated, not a big deal. But that's how you can make sure that your tips are allocated to the right people, just like you're used to them being in the Conqueror reports.
All right. Yeah. I think Square, the partnership is great. It's exciting. So I'm excited to have you on to cover these, and I'm going to, you don't know yet, but I'm going to ask you to come back on to do another one here.
And I'm happy to do it. I've been doing a lot of the integrations between Conqueror and Square POS. And it's the more we do, the more we find out, but that makes it better for our customers too. We're finding out things early so that we can pass on that information.
Yeah, no, that's great. I think it's great. And, sometimes if, they don't have time to give you guys a call or try to find some help, listening to these shows is going to make it easy for them. Or just maybe if they want to check it out and listen to it on the way to work, just so they know if they come across an issue. That's why I think these shows are so great for people to listen to. And if you are new to the show, make sure you're going back. Like I mentioned, every show, go back and listen to past episodes or just look through them and see if there's something that you might be able to share with staff or ownership or management, because there's a lot of great information out there coming from some great people that we have here in the company. So David J., I appreciate your time today, and we will have you back on sooner than later. And until next time, we will talk to everyone soon. Thank you.
Thanks, Orly.